Hey everybody, welcome on into the Delmarva Sports Insider, your only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bosser.
What's up, it's yours truly, Sports Anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. We got a lot of football and more to talk about tonight. Brandon, what do you want to start with tonight?
A lot of great football out there tonight. We're going to start with the Bayside. There was a game up in Easton. Man, this game did not turn out the way that I thought it was going to. Easton,
Me either.
Hosting Y High. I expected a little more offense than what we got.
Yeah, and both teams are definitely in a rebuilding mode, going off of high explosive offenses from last year, but that's last year. So let's see how they look this year. Obviously, Y High trying to come into this game with a strong mindset of trying to get the ball and run it down Easton's throw and also get into the end zone as much as possible. Both of these teams were out there in the 95-plus degree heat, which the young squad will show out in right there. Takai Hugie, he's right off the rip going into the end zone. He takes the opening kickoff 98 yards.
That's a way to set the tone.
Yeah, the Tribe definitely need that explosiveness from him. Now, Easton's offense would have a rough night, to say the least. Michael O'Connor gets eaten alive by the pass rush on this play. Y-High's defense did it all in this game. They played lockdown D all four quarters. O'Connor would try the air, but no joy would come from it as the Tribe secondary were all over the Easton receivers.
But now we move to the third, and Jordan Heyman drives up the gut and punches it in for the score. The Tribe now out in front by 2 scores. That's the final nail in the coffin, Devin.
Yeah.
Y High picks up their first win of the season, and Coach McMurdo, his first win as the head coach of the Y High Tribe. He wasn't falling for that Gatorade shower, though. That was the best juke we've seen so far this season. Way to go, Coach. All right, we talked with him after the game and asked about his defensive performance. Let's listen in.
We're young, and we're still ironing out the details and trying to get to the point that we need to be as a defensive unit. We stayed on the field a little too long. We made some mistakes on some third downs that gave them first downs when we could have got off sooner, which would have kept our guys more fresh. But they're a good unit, but they're not nearly as good as they're going to be by the end of the year.
Now let's move on to the Decatur Seahawks, also at home tonight. Obviously, their expectations are a little bit different than the Tribes are this year. They were playing host to Randallstown. Yeah, it was a really good game. I think Decatur, obviously, they had their forfeit win against Queen Anne, so this will be the first time we'd be able to see them on the field. And Decatur, I mean, they proved us right so far in terms of how explosive they're going to be looking this season. They get the short QB run by Bryson Coleman. They take a 7-0 lead after the first quarter. And another defensive stop. Trey Dorn takes it out from 10 yards out. The Hawks lead 14-0 after the first. Bryson Coleman finds Ethan Bradshaw for the score, so they're just pouring it on. Decatur Seahawks ahead by 3 scores at halftime. Coleman finds Zachary Baker, and he catches it off the deflection. That's another touchdown.
That was pretty. Nice concentration.
28-0 midway through the third. Bryson finding a wide open Tribe Wise. I mean, he's just hitting everyone that he could find right there.
Spreading the love out there, too. Love it.
Yeah, and they dropped 42 points. It was a big win for them. Randallstown would score a touchdown, make it 42-8, but it was another big moment right there. Senior baseball player A.J. Cobb, playing his first year of high school football, has a 99-yard pick six. Decatur, 49-8 winner, moving to 2-0 on the young season.
Yeah, fantastic game for the Decatur Seahawks. Their first time actually on the field, and they are 2-0. And what a fun night it was in Snow Hill tonight. A field dedication tonight at halftime. The facilities at Snow Hill, now known as Mo Barber Field at Kelly Shoemate Stadium. Big hit here, throwing them out of bounds on the sidelines. Eagles fired up. We heard in camp the Birds would be airing it out a lot more this year. Tyler Riddick airing it out. Jayceer Fields down the sidelines. Snow Hill on top in the early second quarter. More from Riddick. Nowhere to go. He's tucking and running. Fields finds a lane, and there he goes inside the 30, the 20, and down near the 10. Later, Fields again. What a pass to Zaheem Kollick right here.
Wow.
Just outside the
great.
defender's grasp. Touchdown Snow Hill. They led 19-7. And I have to say, top play nominee right here. Watch this. Back goes up the gut, but here's Fields on the defense. He pulled a clowny on him.
Wow, he just took it right out of his hands.
Stripped the ball right out of his hands. We slowed it down for you to watch it one more time. Look at that vice grip he had on the football right there. Colic with 3 scores tonight. Fields with the game-winning touchdown late. Snow Hill wins 26-23.
Now to a game from last night in Salisbury. Washington on the road playing Bennett. The Jaguars getting something going on offense in the first quarter. Jaquay Howard going up top for the first down, but it would end with a fumble on the snap. Malachi Harrison gets the scoop right here. He's brought down deep in Washington territory. You see that score right there, and you see the turnover right there. Makes it easy for the Clippers to capitalize, and that's exactly what they would do on the goal line. You see him getting the ball right there on the handoff. He waltzes right in. Touchdown, Bennett. The route was on early. Sakai Smolin at QB. It was impossible for Washington to solve on defense. He had 3 total touchdowns, 1 passing, 2 rushing. Lightning forced a game delay and was called in the second, but it was already 32-0 at that point. So they were like, yeah, let's just call this a game.
Yeah, we weren't sure if this was an official game or not. It was before halftime when it was called at 32-0. Called up Coach Lazinski, who said that they had gotten together, talked with state officials, and both teams agreed that this would be an official game. So Bennett goes on and wins, and they are 1-1. All right, so let's check out some other final scores from around the Bayside as North Carolina 34-0 winners over Parkside. So the Bulldogs are 2-0, and Parkside drops to 0-2. And North Carolina, even though they made a coaching change, they're looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of explosive power, especially behind the line right there for the crew.
Yeah, and having a kid like Nasai Bell leading your offense, that's pretty darn good as well. Cambridge South, Dorchester, and Century. Last we checked in, they were in a weather delay, so not sure what's going on with that game as of right now. Kent County 42-6. They fall to Arcadia. And Baltimore City and Kent Island, look at this. The Buccaneers go out there. They win a tight one, 31-30. KI is 2-0. So impressive stuff there for the Bucs. We saw them against Parkside last week. Come down here to Kent County, or come down here to County Stadium and take care of business against Parkside. They take care of business against City College as well. So the Bucs pick up where they left off last year. So, Devin, anything that you noticed from the Bayside this week?
Obviously, Kent Island being able to kind of bounce back from losing Casey Heath. That's one of the biggest losses that any team in the Bayside is facing this year. And to be able to start the season off 2-0, still very early on in the year, and they've had some tough battles so far. It doesn't seem like they're that far away, the best team in the Bayside like they were last year, but still able to come away with a few wins and having some really gritty wins. Obviously, they were tied at 14 last week at halftime against Parkside, a team that North Carolina dispatched up easily this week. And they were able to blow them out in the second half, and now they're able to win a close game against Baltimore City. So Kent Island is definitely a team to watch out for, that they're not going to fall as hard as you people thought that they were going to this year. Mainly me. We're going to see.
Well, you know what? The Y-High Tribe, they impressed me tonight because they come back from a 40-0 drubbing last week against Linganore at home, and then come out this week against Easton. Easton didn't allow a sack all week or all game last week in week 1 against Northeast, and Y-High is able to come out there with that defense, get after Michael O'Connor, and limit them to 3 points. Easton's offense is pretty dynamic as well.
And Snow Hill, I think they have the most exciting highlights so far of the Bayside. I mean, just ripping that, and the 30-yard bomb was just beautiful. All
right, now over to Delaware, a battle of the Dogs up in Wilmington. The Dogs were out tonight.
Oh, it sure was. It was a 2A battle, first 2A battle for Laurel since moving up. Obviously, last week they lost to the Sussex Central Golden Knights, a 3A team. Now, they travel north to face the Bulldogs of Brandywine. Now, first quarter, Laurel down 13-7. Kobe Shockley to Elijah Niblet down the sideline, tackled at the 1. He's almost in for the touchdown, but they call him a yard short. Now, next play, second quarter, Roy Scotton spins into the end zone. 14-13 lead goes to the Bulldogs of Laurel. Now, last play of the half, Shockley to air it out again. He finds Niblet for reservations for 6. They lead 21-13 at halftime.
And third quarter now, Patrick Bell able to twist in from 2 yards out. That made it 28-13. We saw the short game. How about the long game right here? 45 yards to pay dirt coming up for the Laurel Bulldogs. He gets the ball, goes right through the hole, bursts through, and turns on the Jets. Laurel's defense keeping on the pressure, and Laurel goes on to win this one pretty handily. They had 2 fumble recoveries tonight. and they go on to win this one by 3 scores out there up in Wilmington. So a great game by Laurel Bulldogs, able to take this one. First game in the 2A against a 2A opponent. Let's hear now from head coach Joey Jones.
Long drive, long day. It's been hot all week, and I think that kind of got to our guys, unfortunately. But got going and really just got back to being who we are again. You know, got to play the way they play, got to play who they are, and it was a lot of fun the second half.
More 2A action. Delmarva hosting Delaware Military Academy. Now the Wildcats down 21-6 heading into the fourth quarter. QB Nathan Van Zant trying to spearhead a comeback. Back-to-back QB rushes. He drops the defender right here with the spin move. Look at this. Ooh. See you later. Spamming circle on the PS5 controller. Right. But the defense pops the ball out right into the hands of Isaiah Holbrook, who waltzes in for the end zone score. They're down 21-12. They get the 2-point conversion to make it a 1-score game. So all they need to do is get one stop, but they don't get it. He takes it 25 yards to the house. That ices the game with about 2 minutes left. DMA takes down Delmarva 28-14.
DMA is a good team and good for Delmarva keeping it close like that, and that was quite the spin cycle he put him in.
He tried to do it again, but yeah, luckily his teammate was right behind him to catch the ball.
All right, now going up to Georgetown, Sussex Tech facing Del Castle. The Ravens tied with the Cougars at scoreless right here before Zion Roach takes it all the way into the goal line. Ravens up 7-0. Still in the first now as the Cougars go the length of the field. Quarterback finds a man open on the slant, breaks a few Ravens tackles before he finds himself in the end zone. These two teams go into the second quarter tied at 7 before Del Castle finds a way to create some separation. The long rush gives them the 13-6 edge right here, but Ravens would take the lead heading into the half thanks to Zion Roach's second touchdown of the half. And how about this? Sussex Tech goes on to win this game against Del Castle, 36-25, kind of a shootout out there.
Yeah, it definitely was, but in the first half, it was only a 14-13 score. Sussex Tech actually got a stop at the 1-yard line with 1 second to go into the second half. You see that stop right there, and I think that led the momentum into the second half.
Big momentum shift right there.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to go to the Woodbridge Blue Raiders playing under the lights for the first time this season. This game was from yesterday, and Woodbridge would not waste any time getting all up in Colonel Richardson. Tracy Johnson on the rush right there, punches it in for 6 points. But here come the Colonels. They're in the red zone and they're knocking on the door, and they open the door. Derek Mitchell gets across for the goal line for the score, but that's as good as it gets for the Colonels, Brandon. Now, you saw him earlier, going to see him now again. Tracy Johnson carving up the Colonel defense. No one stops him. That's a 66-yard touchdown.
He's a stud running back for Woodbridge.
Yeah, that was great right there. And honestly, Brandon, that's not even the longest run of the night. Colonel will try to get back in it. They're in the red zone again. This time, it's a defensive player making the longest run of the night. It's a pick six, 98 yards. He takes it all the way to the house right there. Woodbridge was doing it all on both sides of the ball yesterday. They cruised to a 2-0 record. They throttled Colonel Richardson 52-12. Yeah, so showing the difference between some of the Henlopen squads compared to a 1A team.
Hey, and good for Woodbridge. Off to a 2-0 start this year. They were 2-8 last year. We know that Woodbridge has been a perennial contender in the Henlopen the last few years. Good to see them get off to a good start. All right, so Dover, fresh off that 3A championship appearance, they win 42-19 against Curtis, a high school from New York. And that's a 2-0 record for the Senators, and they've easily crushed both of their opponents so far.
Yeah, they definitely look like a squad that's going to be contending for a 3A state title, and they've shown that so far early in this season.
Definitely. I think that they are right up there with Middletown and Smyrna in that 3A. Speaking of Middletown, 41-7 winners over Central. Tough night for the Golden Knights, and we have a pair of games coming your way tomorrow. Lake Forest in Camden to play Caesar Rodney at 11 in the morning. Indian River is at AI DuPont tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And that'll do it for the A Block. We're calling our first time out when we come back. It's Showdown Weekend in Lewis. The best field hockey teams come together. The highlights coming up next on DSI.
Hi, I'm Gavin Saluda with Decatur Football, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.